Imagine you're a teenager, fast asleep in your bed. It's supposed to be your safe space, a sanctuary from the chaos of the world. But suddenly, in the dead of night, 2 or 3 a.m., everything changes.
No, if I want to get out of my bed, let me get out of my bed. I don't care. Get off of me. Get off of me. No, I don't care.
Madison, if I have him step out for a minute, can you just talk to me?
Y'all are not on my side. Why would I want her to leave?
2 strangers burst into your room. Before you can even comprehend what's happening, they're dragging you out of bed. Your screams for help are met with silence from your parents, who watch as you're forcibly taken away. Panic sets in as these strangers shove you into a van and drive you to a place you've never heard of, the academy at Ivy Ridge. It's isolated, in the middle of nowhere, and you're about to enter a world of torment and manipulation that you never imagined existed. This is the chilling reality behind troubled teen institutions, a dark underbelly where trauma, abuse, and deceit run rampant. Welcome to the murderer's mindset. Today, we're peeling back the layers of a disturbing and often hidden world, troubled teen institutions. These places, shrouded in secrecy, are where trauma, manipulation, and abuse thrive under the guise of treatment. We'll explore why these institutions exist, the horrors they inflict, and who's behind this billion-dollar scam. Buckle up and get ready to uncover the unsettling truth. So, what exactly are troubled teen institutions? Often labeled as wilderness programs, treatment centers, or therapeutic boarding schools, these facilities are part of a multi-billion-dollar industry. What's the common denominator? They're usually located in remote areas, far from civilization. Some are situated in desolate deserts or deep forests, intentionally isolating teens from the outside world. These institutions operate with strict rules, enforcing a system of levels or steps, akin to the bridge in Scientology or the stripe path in NexIVM. Teens are told they won't be fixed or healed until they complete the program, but instead of finding enlightenment or resolution, their only goal becomes escape. What's truly terrifying is how these places are marketed to parents. The promotional materials are deceptively polished, photos of happy, smiling teens, glowing testimonials from parents, and videos showcasing wholesome activities like field days. It all seems so legitimate, but behind this facade lies a very different reality. Many staff members at these institutions have minimal to no therapeutic training or credentials. Instead of receiving proper education and support, kids are subjected to emotional and physical abuse. Why, then, would a parent send their child to such a place? This is where the manipulation comes in. The people running these institutions are expert con artists. They prey on parents' deepest fears and insecurities, promising to fix their so-called troubled teens. This is similar to the tactics used by cult leaders. Exploit a vulnerable person by convincing them you have the solution to all their problems. Often it's not just typical teenage rebellion being exploited. These institutions claim to address everything from mental health issues to behavioral problems, positioning themselves as the only solution. Parents are convinced their child is in imminent danger unless they're sent away. Here's the kicker. There's often a recruitment aspect to this industry. It's like a twisted version of multi-level marketing. Parents who send their kids to these institutions are encouraged to recruit other families. In return, they might receive financial incentives, sometimes thousands of dollars off their own child's tuition. All the while, these parents are led to believe they're helping their kids, when in reality, they're sending them into a nightmare. What's worse is that many of these teens are far from the dangerous criminals the media portrays them as. They're just kids grappling with mental health challenges like depression or anxiety. Instead of getting genuine help from trained professionals, they're sent to unregulated institutions where abuse is rampant and true healing is a distant hope. The media often paints these troubled teens as ticking time bombs, suggesting that without these institutions, they'd drop out of school and end up in jail. The narrative is that these kids are master manipulators, deceiving their parents. This is a classic tactic used by authoritarian groups to control every aspect of a person's life, stripping away personal freedom. Let's delve into the BITE model of authoritarian control: behavior, information, thought, and emotional control. In these institutions, behavior control is extreme. Kids are constantly monitored, and their actions are strictly regulated. They're forced into a rigid point system: start with 0 points, gain points for following rules, lose them for breaking them. If you break enough rules, you might end up with negative points, starting off in the hole. Imagine enduring all this torment only to graduate with a diploma that isn't even legitimate. After all the suffering, you're left with a worthless piece of paper and a broken spirit. Parents spend tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars only for their children to end up with nothing of value and a crushed self-esteem. As you advance through the levels, you supposedly earn more privileges, though these are often just further exploitation. At level 1, you can't even look outside. By level 3, you might work outside, but it's essentially free labor. At higher levels, you might be tasked with punishing other kids. The goal is to create division and distrust among the teens, making them turn on each other. This tactic, akin to those used in cults, ensures that fear and isolation remain dominant. The rules in these places are draconian: no talking, no eye contact, military-style marching, and a complete lack of privacy. Bathroom doors had to remain open, and some teens faced invasive procedures like random gynecological exams. Staff members, often large and aggressive, would physically restrain and harm teenagers for minor infractions. Isolation, extreme punishment, and the threat of physical harm were everyday realities. Punishments included isolation in tiny rooms for days without food or water, being forced to lie face down for hours, or sitting in a specific position while staring at a wall for an entire day. The brutality was both physical and emotional. When parents visited, they were subjected to brainwashing tactics similar to cult indoctrination methods. These sessions were designed to break down critical thinking, making both parents and children more susceptible to the facility's manipulative practices. The ultimate goal of these tactics was to maintain control and ensure compliance. Facilities needed to keep the money flowing, $3,000 to $5,000 a month per child. Losing a student or a paying parent meant losing significant revenue. It's heartbreaking to think that this money, which could have been used for genuine therapy or education, was instead used to inflict trauma. Now let's discuss the I in the BITE model: information control. These institutions monitored everything students were exposed to, intercepting their communications with their families. Phone calls and letters were scrutinized, and any negative sentiments about the facility were dismissed as manipulation. Parents were warned that their children's pleas for help were just attempts to escape. This created a rift between parents and their children, leaving kids feeling abandoned and isolated. Regarding thought and emotional control, the impact was profound. When your self-worth and identity are stripped away, disassociation often follows. To avoid punishment, students might make false confessions or begin to believe the negative labels imposed on them. They become robotic, stripped of their instincts, emotions, and critical thinking. This brainwashing ensures they don't just comply, but fully internalize the institution's narrative. It's evident that these institutions are incredibly damaging, particularly to young people in their formative years. They obliterate identities and mental health, leaving deep and enduring scars. Ironically, many of the issues that led these kids to be sent away become the methods they use to cope with the trauma inflicted by these institutions. Many ex-students turn to drugs, alcohol, or worse, as a way to numb their pain. Some have tragically taken their own lives. And here's the most tragic part. These facilities still exist. Parents continue to spend thousands, unaware they're essentially paying for their children to be abused and traumatized. The industry, under the guise of helping families, is tearing them apart. Ex-students often cut off their parents after escaping, feeling betrayed and struggling to bridge the gap of misunderstanding. Both parents and children are left to deal with the aftermath. Parents struggling to accept their role in the trauma and children feeling abandoned and scarred. It's a heartbreaking reality, and the scars left by these institutions are deep and enduring. Many survivors continue to seek validation and understanding, but their experiences remain fragmented as they were isolated from each other and stripped of their identities while in these facilities. If this deep dive into troubled teen institutions has shed light on this dark issue, please share this video to help raise awareness and prevent others from falling victim to these harmful practices. Your support helps us continue to expose the truth and bring these hidden horrors into the light. Don't forget to subscribe to The Murderer's Mindset and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Join our community of truth seekers and stay informed about the dark realities we uncover. Thank you for watching, and remember, knowledge is power.